takes a walk down memory lane and looks at the old corner stores in St. John's. And welcome back. And I guess, Karl, long before there were big box stores, there were corner stores.
There were corner stores and all kinds of other grocery stores, Jonathan. That's one of my most enduring memories, actually, of St. John's. And it will always be the large number of small grocery stores that peppered every neighborhood when I was growing up. They were more than just places to buy a block of cheese or a loaf of bread. I know because for many years, one in particular was an important part of my life. This building at the top of Golf and Mount Royal Avenues used to belong to my family. It's where I grew up. We lived in an apartment on the top floor, and my dad's grocery store was on the bottom floor. At one time, it was a very busy corner, with folks from all of the surrounding streets buying their groceries at my dad's store. He opened the business in the late 1950s. It had a few facelifts over the years. When I was a kid, after school, it was expected that I'd help out in the store. So I did my bit. I swept the floors, I stacked the shelves, I bagged groceries, I delivered groceries. The work, I wasn't so crazy about. What I did love about our store was the fact that it was a neighborhood gathering place. People came to our store to check up on the neighborhood news, to talk politics, to meet friends. I met a lot of interesting folks in this store. But you know what? Ours was not unique in that. In fact, at one time, there were over 150 neighborhood grocery stores just like ours, all over St. John's.
There was a growth in neighborhood stores from the early 1900s. As the city developed and neighborhoods expanded, budding entrepreneurs established new businesses. These stores met the needs of families without motor vehicles, who preferred to do their shopping close to home. Former St. John's Mayor John Murphy remembers visits during his boyhood to Charlie Rowd's store near Power Street.
It was a nice little store, about 20 feet by 20 feet, and a door leading into the kitchen. So when you went in the shop, the door hit a little bell, and, which was hanging there, and it rang the bell, so either Charlie or his wife would come out and serve you. So they didn't have to sit in the store all day waiting for you to go along to get a pocket full of candy.
I remember a time when this area had over a dozen small grocery stores. Now there are only a few left in my old neighborhood.
One of those stores is Jackman Greene on Cookstown Road. It's survived since the 1920s. In 1957, Frank Kelly's family bought the business from the original owners. Frank joined the business full-time in the 1960s. But, like me, he was expected to do his share of work while growing up.
I do small jobs like stacking sugar and stacking flour and, loading milk around in the back room and just to earn a few dollars.
And tell me about the car on Saturdays.
Yeah, when I got my license first at age 17, in order for me to get the car for Saturday night, I had to work Friday night and all day Saturday doing deliveries. And of course, in those days, most of the business that was done here was a delivery business.
I reminded Frank of just how many grocery stores were around when his dad and my dad got into the business.
It was very, very competitive. There was almost a store on every corner. But the people tended to be loyal to the store they dealt with, and they all had their books, and they charged what they wanted until the end of the week or the end of the 2-week period and paid off. It was a nice gathering place for everybody to come.
John Murphy remembers the neighborly attitude from and toward the shopkeepers.
I remember the friendliness of them all. I remember in September 1939, my mother was listening to the radio, and we had the only radio on Power Street. And World War II, Poland was invaded, World War II, Britain declared war. So she said, go over and tell Mrs. Gardner that the Second World War is just beginning. So I ran over, and I said, Mrs. Gardner, the Second World War has just begun. My, she said, they have a lovely day for it, haven't they?
You know, when the first few supermarkets opened, I remember my dad saying to me, "These new supermarkets, I think they're going to mean the end of small grocery stores like ours." Well, they haven't all gone, but most of them have. I miss what went with them. The neighborhood center, the gathering place, the place where when you walked in, you knew the person behind the counter, and he or she knew who you were. The place where personal service was the norm rather than the exception. I hope you've enjoyed this look back at neighborhood grocery stores, and join me next time for another memory.